So this is a practice which I have been following for a long time, ever since my childhood, to maintain 1 minute silence before we do anything. And silence has been the very foundation of our Sanskriti, our Sabhyata, our Rishi Parampara. Usually people ask this question, how do we know 1 minute is over? The simple technique that we use, so the usual breathing time in 1 minute is 15 to 18 hours. So if we remain silent and observe our breath for 15 to 18 cycle, that makes it 1 minute. I was doing it with one group of executives, and there was a very interesting answer that I got as a feedback. So I asked, what did you feel? So this person answered. He said, in my life for the first time, I came to know how long is 1 minute. Usually we spend time gossiping for hours together. We don't know how time goes. But remaining silent for 1 minute is the most difficult task. 1 minute. And we know like what chaos going on. And this is where I think the rishis, the Indian tradition, our whole Rishi Parampara has worked a lot on how to bring the whole consciousness into a state of silence. And all that we have as a result of this Rishi Parampara is a result of this silence. The rishis believed in Nishabdam Tat Parabrahma, that speechless, that soundless, supreme. And if whatever we are doing in life, if it is not leading to that state of silence, then we need to work a lot. We need to work a lot. So with this brief introduction, let me introduce myself. Most of you may be knowing, most of you may not be knowing. This is a self-introduction which we will be doing for everyone. So I begin it with myself, then we will give the mic to everyone, so then you can introduce yourself. We know each other. We know each other by our aspiration, not just by our name and qualification and this. What has been our aspiration in life. And once we are aligned with the inner aspiration, then there is a harmonious learning together. A beautiful moving ahead with all that we will be doing in these 2 days. So my aspiration has been right from my childhood, because there was a goal set before me right from my childhood by my grandfather, who had instilled this love for Sanskrit, love for our nation. He intended that one of the members from every family should be dedicated for the nation, for a greater cause, and then he had chosen me from my family out of 5 people, 5 brothers. We had 3 sisters, cousin, but the sisters were not given that much importance, or they were educated, but they were not given this vision. So they are doing their job, normal job. But every one of us in the family has to learn Sanskrit. That's compulsory for everyone. So, from my childhood, I developed this interest for Sanskrit, especially for the mantras and shlokas, the rhythmic aspect of this. And then moving ahead throughout my academic career, I chose Sanskrit as a subject and specialized in linguistics and grammar. And later, when I came in contact with Sri Aurobindo, his writings, so it gave me much clarity into what I had studied during my academic career. I understood better, you know, the whole tradition. So I had read the Veda during my graduation and post graduation, but it had no sense to me. It didn't help me understand and go deep. I had studied Kalidas, Bhartrihari, studied the Gita, Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, portions of it, not the whole thing. But it didn't make much sense. How do we implement it in our day to day life? What relevance it has? So, all this came after coming in contact with Sri Aurobindo. It gives a very deeper understanding of what these shastras stand for, or anything. So, this is one thing, and at the same time, Sri Aurobindo also became easy because Sri Aurobindo is not easy to understand. Very, very difficult to understand. Sri Aurobindo became easy because of this background, Sanskrit. Because that introduction to Sanskrit and the Rishi Parampara had prepared my consciousness to enter into such writings. So, this is how the journey has been, and then I put a lot of effort in diving deep into the Vedas, Upanishads, Gita, which are my core studies uh, for last 2 decades, and working on many innovative projects. So at present, I was there in Pondicherry for 25 years, where I did a lot of work. And then I shifted for last 3 years. I've been working in a university called Rishi Hood University, where I have set up a center called Center for Human Sciences. And then we have very interesting projects which are very much in alignment with Sri Aurobindo, because that was the whole purpose. We initiated a course on Sri Aurobindo, 150 hours course, 90 students uh, attending the course for 1 year. Then we have taken up a project on integral humanism in the light of Sri Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda, Dindal Upadhyay, and then trying to influence the policymakers of the country through different projects work and creating a set of books for K-12 children so that they understand what is integral humanism. Because integral humanism is something which is entirely rooted in the Vedic and Vedantic tradition. So sometimes, like throughout our discussion, I will point out what is this integral humanism. The word humanism itself is a problematic word if we contemplate on the Western paradigm, the Western idea of humanism. But here it is the humanism of the humanism. And it is integral humanism when we look at it in a true sense. It is not, humanism is not humanistic, but sarvabhuta daya. That's where the focus is. Then we have taken up projects on Avadhan Kala, multiple concentration ability, and then how do we develop it and bring it to the classroom situation. We have projects on very interesting project which have been approved by the government of India, robotics in ancient India. So I will be submitting the final report in a month. So what has been the ideas prevalent in the Vedas, Upanishads, and many Puranas, the AI, artificial intelligence, and the robotics ideas, and they are not something new. Very interesting facts which I have discovered from the Shastras. They will be presenting. We're taking up a project on understanding. So, for example, like if you go to Anganwadis, there are many self-help groups. How do we elevate their consciousness so that they become capable of implementing the schemes given by the government of India? So we are working on a CRP model, Samaj Shilpi Dampati, Swagram Mitra, Swagram Hita Chintak. So these are the finer models which I have studied and then I'm presenting through kind of research. There's a whole group of people working under my supervision, preparing a model which will be given to the government of India. Community resource persons model. model, not model. And then we have Vasishta Kavyaganta Ganapati Muni, his writings, which I have edited in 12 volumes with Natashanji's help. We're translating those into English and Hindi. There are few scholars who are involved in the translation work. That's another project. We're creating children's literature in Sanskrit. That's another project. So most of these projects are funded by the Government of India, Ministry of Education, or some CSR funding. So apart from that, I have one application called Language Curry, which is India's best Sanskrit learning application so far. And we have Divya Vani Sanskrit Radio, which runs 24/7. And Sanskrit Bal Sahitya Parishad, which focuses only on creating, promoting children's literature in Sanskrit. And then Indian knowledge system, which has become a catchword and very, very central to the national education policy or new education policy 2020. So with regard to that also, like we have been doing a lot of work helping many groups in strategizing how do we take forward this work. So this is a brief introduction to me and my work. So let's introduce each other, and we will start, but we introduce by our aspirations.
I came to Ashram when I was a child of 8 and studied in Sri Aurobindo Ashram school and passed out in 76. My grandfather was from the time of Sri Aurobindo, and my father is a Vedalankar from Gurukul Kandi, but I never learned Sanskrit. I did not fulfill his wish until I came in touch with him. Professionally, I took to engineering, maths and all corporate work, which I don't want to even mention here. After my retirement, with inspiration from Sampadananda, I am trying with notes, he guides me with what to study, self-study, and then secret on Veda, each mantra. Whenever I need any help, he guides me where to go and what to take, the Sanskrit part. And other works of Sri Aurobindo like Life Divine Senses of Yoga and Savitri and all, we did in our classes. So I am an elementary school level Sanskrit learner. That's all.
Namaskaram, Namaste sir, and thank you very much to the organizers for this beautiful opportunity. My name is Sushruth Padhe. I am the disciple of Damleji. I am born and brought up in Pondicherry, but I didn't have any influence of Sri Aurobindo's teachings or writings till I completed my mechanical engineering in 2011. Like all engineers, I was looking for an MSc abroad. That time I came across somebody I knew was an elderly person who encourages youngsters. So I went to him to learn pranayam so that I can control my recurring sinus infection before going to UK. But somehow I got inspired with him, and then I started living with him. And now I think it's 13th year, but it doesn't look like 13 minutes also for me. It has gone quickly. I am a student of Sanskrit language. I've got like lateral entry only. I have not officially studied the Sanskrit language, but through Damleji's guidance, I've got an opportunity to look at the scriptures. Then I have a bad habit of poetry, so I keep writing in rhymes. Inspired by Damleji and Sri Aurobindo's teachings, I have written Bhagavad Gita, Isha, Kena, Mandukya and Sri Aurobindo Upanishad in rhymes, and around 11 suktas in rhymes. So I look forward to learning from sir today, and our trust is Midam Charitable Trust, which is teaching Bhagavad Gita for children as well as adults as a free workshop. And but as every workshop which is free, it needs some funding and some kind of support. So our project is supported by the Damleji's Ayurvedic Manufacturing Unit, which is KVM Research Labs. We manufacture and export Ayurvedic medicines, and our project supports this initiative as well. I have also done a BSc Chemistry, so I have become additional technical staff in Ayurvedic manufacturing. So that is my intro. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I'm Chitra. I'm originally from Bombay. I've come here because of interest to learn Sanskrit and learn to bit of Veda or whatever it is possible. Just trying to learn something.
My name is Madhusudan Rao. I am from Chennai. Like Madam said before, I've been wallowing in the corporate world for now about 24 years. I started as a IT engineer and continue to be an IT engineer. But I come from an Orthodox family where I hear the chanting of the Veda sounds on a day-to-day basis from my father. But I really want to understand and go to the depth of what those sounds and chants mean. That's the reason I was pulled into this class. And I do have a deep fascination for Indian knowledge systems. I believe that a lot of profound truths are present in our ancient scriptures. And my wish is to spend the rest of my years doing less of corporate job, but studying more of Indian knowledge systems, especially Vedic astronomy and Vedic mathematics, because they happen to be my passion even in the engineering world. And I do understand that the foundation for all this is the Sanskrit language, because of which I am now starting to learn the Sanskrit language through the Chittur Samskriti Sabha school. I'm in my second stage now, appearing for the Abhigyan exams shortly. But my goal in life is to learn Sanskrit and through that Indian knowledge systems. And I will be very happy to be part of any work that propagates the ancient Indian knowledge systems of our country forward in any manner. So that is my life mission. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Subhash Katak. I live here in Pondicherry. Many years back, I had an aspiration of reading, being able to read Life Divine and Understanding. And the initial effort was almost a failure. I couldn't understand even the first page of the book. But then I came to Pondicherry and we came in contact with Sampadananda ji. I learned Sanskrit from him, basic level, and then he conducted courses on Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, twice, thrice. And in that process, the clarity came, and still I am in the pursuit of reading Life Divine, understanding it in its true spirit and philosophy, and still this is my goal. And in the process, I have learned by heart Isha Upanishad fully, and also had glimpses of certain other Upanishads, and this is still further helping me to read and read this Life Divine and understand it more clearly and distinctly. This is still my goal, and I am pursuing it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Sri Darshan Kaundinya, very big name, so you can call me Sri for short. I think I'm basically just like everybody, I'm the child of the mother, and my aspiration is to surrender to her more and more. So throughout my life, she has taken me by my little finger and moved me all over the world, corporate world, etc., etc. Now I'm here in Pondicherry permanently, and I'm a student of Sri Aurobindo's works, Sanskrit, etc.
Good morning to everybody. I am Lalita, and as Sri said, I am also a student of Sampaji to learn Sanskrit more and more and get into it. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Asha from Coimbatore. We came to Mother and Sri Aurobindo in the year 2000. But before that, we never knew about them. Though I was in Chennai, I never knew that there is an ashram of Mother and Sri Aurobindo here. After coming here, I can say that the life has changed. Reading more and more of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, we completely we came to this path, and but somewhere in the corner there was an urge to read Bhagavad Gita and understand Bhagavad Gita as a whole. But I don't know Sanskrit. Even if I take the book of Bhagavad Gita and try to read one line, I never understood anything. But this urge kept on, and first time when I attended a Bhagavad Gita workshop under Sampaji, there the interest for reading more and more of our Indian, knowing Indian culture, our scripts, all that increased. After coming under his guidance, learning more and more, I had the interest to learn more of Upanishads. Upanishads became my favorite. As he said, we have done Ishopanishad. I have given a complete reading, though I understood only a portion of it. I have given a complete read of Ishopanishad and Vedas, and I never miss any workshop that is connected with Sampaji because he is my inspiration. That's how my life is going on. I like to dive and swim as much as possible in this and grasp whatever that I can and learn as much as I can. This is my
Hello, namaste everyone. My name is Bhargavi. I must have, I think, traveled the longest distance to come here. I live in Gurgaon. I came to work for office. I still am a corporate slave, unfortunately. But anyway, I have a parallel life now. So I was on an office trip to Bangalore. So after Friday evening, I took a flight to Chennai. I took a cab to Pondicherry to come here. And again, I will go back to Gurgaon on Sunday night or Monday morning. But my grandfather was a very big Sanskrit scholar. Unfortunately, we didn't imbibe it when we were growing up. I really rue that fact that we did not take advantage of his presence when he was available. But I think some latent sanskara must have revived in me. So after the age of 45, I got interested in Ayurveda. I was a convent-educated, highly secular, liberalized person till then. And then I moved into Ayurveda but because of some interest. That was my first touch with Indian knowledge systems. And because it's appealed to me so much, the way of life in Ayurveda, and because I wanted to read Ashtanga Hridayam, I started learning Sanskrit. The first lectures I did online with Sampadananda. It's still not, it's in fits and starts, I'm not very regular, but I've started learning. And after Ayurveda, I got interested in all the Vedas, Upanishads. I listened to YouTube lectures of Swami Aurobindo and Vedantic lectures, etc. So that has been the journey last 5 years. I cannot recognize myself 5 years ago now. So having said that, my aspiration in life, and it started with the Ayurveda thing is, my grandfather was a wise man. We didn't get any advantage of that. I am not a wise person. I don't know what will happen if my daughter is now 23. In a few years, maybe I will be a grandparent. I am not at all equipped to pass on this knowledge to my grandchildren, and I need to prepare myself for that. So my aspiration is obviously to know myself and also to pass it on to the next generation in a simple manner, today's generation. And eventually, if God helps me, to start a Vedic Pathshala in Gurgaon after my retirement.
Namaste to all. I have not much to introduce about myself. I am a very ordinary person right from my childhood, but through many ups and downs, I have experienced the grace of Divine protecting my life. In my school days, Sanskrit was an optional subject. Its marks were not counted for the results of performance of the year. Yet I took it and I like it very much. And today, my conviction about the importance and significance of Sanskrit as a language has increased like anything. I'm just trying to learn slowly, bit by bit, with the help of people like Sampaji and others. And I love it very much. And I feel very sorry that today in our nation, our motherland, the people of the government of our I don't blame the government, but the people by and large, they have not accepted Sanskrit as the mother tongue of this nation. That is a sad part of it. So I dream for the day when Sanskrit shall be the language. Sanskrit is indeed the language of humanity, not only Indians. And we are so far behind in even appreciating the importance of it. So that is that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tushar, and I've been reading Mother and Sri Aurobindo for quite a long time now, and I think it was during the youth camp, the first youth camp that I attended in 2012 when I got to know Sampadananda. And since then there has always been an aspiration and innate aspiration to attend as much as I can, irrespective of whatever the session and the class is, as far as Sampadananda is concerned. He has always inspired me, and is someone who has given such deeper truths about the Upanishads, the Vedas, the Gitas, the sessions that I have attended, and beyond that also, on a personal level, he has been guiding me. So that was one of the key aspirations for me to be part of this workshop. I also feel that it's high time now in the society and what we see around that the real meaning around spirituality and how we can make life beautiful is lacking a bit. And if we can go deeper and understand and make everyone around us as much as available to these deeper truths, that would be beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I'm someone who would love to keep on learning around anything that comes, and like I said, there's always that quest of going deeper, and when it comes to sessions like these, workshops like this, it becomes very easy for you, because when you start yourself and with the limited knowledge, it becomes very difficult to interpret and comprehend certain things. So very grateful and blessed to be part of this workshop today. Thank you.
I feel sorry for getting late. I am Professor Madan Mohan Sakru. I retired from Japan, professor. And I am physiologist and also expert in yoga. About 1.5 years back, I had a cancer and surgery, so my mouth, a little problem is there. And during that time, I knew a little about Veda, but not much. I started reading Veda. I am already retired. And I had a lot of physiology and yoga. But now I shifted to Veda. I got full Veda Samhita. 14 volumes, 20,400 some mantras of 4 Vedas. And while reading Veda, I said, it's wonderful. And there's so much of confusion and misunderstanding, misrepresentation about the Vedic knowledge. Now we see this recently the Sanatana controversy. And what we feel that those who are criticizing, and some people are trying to defend, they defend, but they don't mean any mantra, they just defend or oppose, that's all. Without any reason, most unprofessional, unacademic. Not a single one. Only 1 or 2 mantras will be quoted. Veda is a wonderful, and it's a sea of knowledge. I told more than 20,000 mantras are there. All the Veda, I mean. And that is enough. There will be maybe hundreds of books, maybe later on. And they may different. All the books, all the scriptures, they accept the authority of the Vedas. And naturally, many books are giving the information against Vedas also. But they are the same also. And Guru Nanak Dev has said, Asanti Granth Mukhi Vedapad. That's also there. And all about that 500 years back. And Swami Dayananda Saraswati about 200 years back, he was Vedic Chalabhavasra, go back to Vedas. But we have not started still, and that's why this is very happy to see this program now. And the Vedic knowledge on see the Gyan Karma Upasana. And so we'll be getting now knowledge of that, we're discussing that. And so much knowledge is there. How we should behave, how we should conduct and karma, how we must work properly. And then Upasana is also these three things mainly with us. And I think that we'll exchange information and get wiser.
Thank you.
I know Dr Sampadananda Mishra has lived a long time. I'm in Pondicherry for last since 1977. And I know his evidence and this Sanskrit knowledge, general knowledge. So we'll be benefited. So I thank him very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Namaste. My name is Aruna. I am from Bangalore. And firstly, I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to attend this workshop. I first, for 20 years back, I wanted to learn Sanskrit. I was to look around online for any, because it was not possible for me to go, and there weren't many resources also to go and teach us. And that is when I saw the website of Aurobindo Ashram for children's website, where the curriculum, the textbooks were put up. But most importantly, the Bala Gitani, the songs, nursery rhymes that were used to teach Sanskrit. I was really fascinated with that. And it was in those days with some Mbps, it's a small speed. I used to sit and download all of them one by one. I stored it somewhere, and with 20 years gone and so many computers, I don't know where they are, but I found those songs in some Aurobindo Shishya in, I think, one of the Scandinavian countries school, and I finally managed to download it again. But they're very, very simple Sanskrit shlokas, and I was very fascinated with that and that way of teaching. And also I had seen there was a Bharatnatyam dance which was choreographed based on the mnemonics that was created, the song. So that was my first attempt to learn Sanskrit, but a lot of things, self-study and all that, nothing much. Actually, serious study started only about 2-3 years back. Currently, I'm a research scholar at Karnataka Sanskrit University, and my interest is on Sanskrit lexicons. And I'm studying on Sanskrit lexicons, and my focus area is how Sanskrit lexicons can be instrumental in delving deeper into the Indian knowledge systems. They are the threshold from where we can actually explore more Indian. That's why the importance of Sanskrit lexicons. I want to establish that and also popularize the study of lexicons. We have a huge repository which is neglected.
My name is Manisha, and I would want to introduce myself as a mother devotee. I have been on this journey, my spiritual journey, from the year 1998, when I started visiting Sri Aurobindo Ashram in Kolkata. And I've been reading his books, those small books, to let me know more about the works and the teachings of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, their life story. Thoughts and Aphorisms is one of the books which is my favorite. Prior to this, as a child, I had been reading Ramayana, Mahabharata. My grandmother used to tell me stories when I was about 2 or 3 years old. My great-grandfather had translated Srimad Bhagavad Gita. My grandfather had wrote Sri Krishna Charit in Bengali. And although I have not been able to get their company to let me know more about Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Sri Krishna Charit,
but my inspiration was always there to know who I am, to love my country, to work for my country, and to love humanity. So even now, apart from the fact that I have got I've had a good career when I was working in City Bank in Bangalore, but after the birth of my child, who had been a student of Sri Aurobindo ashram and had been inspired by Sampadananda ji's books, my son's favorite language was Sanskrit, and while bringing him up, my spiritual journey also had got developed while I was taking care of my son, while he was a part of Sri Aurobindo ashram, the ashram school. And at the moment, I want to kind of progress in the path of on the lights of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, who happens to be my guru. That's it.
Namaste, I'm Kritika. I'm here as a student. I had the blessing of being from a family where my grandfather was a Tamil scholar and my mother has been forever teaching me Sanskrit as well. And I also had the privilege of being a student of Sampadananda for since 3 years now. So I'm here today in order to learn more about it so that I can transfer this knowledge to my child and others moving forward.
Namaste, my name is Arjita. I don't really have much to say except for a long list of gratitude. My grandparents settled in Sri Aurobindo ashram in the 1950s, and we are the third generation and fourth going on here. And I didn't have to go anywhere to look for anything. Everything was just thrust upon my lap here, growing up in the ashram. So we got to learn whatever we wanted to learn, and it was a beautiful journey. I continued to do my masters in Sanskrit, and I have also been in touch with Sampaji for little projects, and it's a wonderful association. So the first opportunity that I got, because I'm generally tied up with family and little children and all that, but the first opportunity I got after these so many years, I've jumped. And I've been a lifelong student of Sanskrit and also a lifelong student of Indian classical music. These are my two passions which I hope to follow for life. Thank you.
Namaskar, my name is Dr. Sharma. I'm a practicing homeopath. I was teaching in the medical college, born in a Hindu Brahmin family, but could never really respect the Indian culture because studied in a convent. And so when I came to Sri Aurobindo, then I realized that how spirituality is higher than the religious things which we follow. And it was my good luck that we have been associated with Sampadananda in our day-to-day life. And through him I have learned the Bhagavad Gita, which was a life-turning moment. And thereafter I have been following him, whichever program he does. Whenever it is possible, I attend the workshops. Vedas, Upanishads, Sanskrit, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all this I have been attending with him. And though we are friends, but still I have immense gratitude towards him. I have been a student for him. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Pushpalata Valla. From childhood, I don't know what it is, but I have always surrendered myself thinking that God is there and He is taking care of me. And till date, I have been very grateful to Him because He has led me throughout my life till date very nicely, and whatever was needed, He has always guided. Sanskrit learning wasn't. It didn't happen in our school days because I was born and brought up in Karnataka. There we did not have Sanskrit as a subject in our school. Christian school it was, Christian missionary school. We had Hindi, Kannada and English. So Sanskrit was not there. But there was a part of it, if I would have learned, it would have been better, because the mantra ucharan that takes place was so nice, fascinating, that that craving to learn was always there. After I got married and went to Orissa, there the father-in-law, mother-in-law, all they knew Sanskrit. Father-in-law very supportive. He always told me to learn Sanskrit. Since I came to Pondi and I was working in a school, I didn't have much scope to learn. But after I took a VRS, voluntary retirement, then I realized that yes, I must learn hereafter, and I'm going to pursue learning Sanskrit to understand Bhagavad Gita. I've been attending Shushruti's online Bhagavad Gita class, and that has helped me, and I thank him because through him I have been able to attend this workshop also. And thank you for organizing this, and it's going to be helpful. And this workshop will indeed be a blissful one to me also.
Prabodha, I'm Shailaja, named by my grandfather who was a Sanskrit scholar. So probably my passion and love for Sanskrit comes from my grandfather and growing up initial years with him. Although in a convent school I did have Sanskrit as a topic, and I had a very good Sanskrit teacher which started my love for Sanskrit. However, what I was most interested in was the link of the language to the ancient texts, and that is what made me very interested, and somehow it was clear that there's so much more to know than what this little book holds. And throughout my life from that time I have been pursuing wherever the knowledge is available. Last 2 years I have been immersed in the chanting and understanding of the Bhagavad Gita, and that has influenced a lot my take on life and the way I am trying to resolve the issues and problems that come. I work as an architect. I am a mother of 2 children. I live in Aurobindo, so combined all this, I am trying to do integral yoga, and I'm looking forward to the Veda workshop today, because this is one thing which I feel I need hand holding in and cannot really delve by myself. And thank you Sampadananda Mishra for accepting me in this workshop, and I look forward to learn and grow.
Good morning, my name is Karina and I'm from the United States, Oregon, so the West Coast, Pacific Ocean, and just happened to be here for 3 weeks to see actually Dr. Arti. That was my intent, to get some answers on some medical issues I had. But during the 3 weeks, I dived into a little bit more into Sri Aurobindo, and especially the mother. She's really kind of spoken to me. And since she believed in, expanding internationally, I feel like I've been guided to be here right now. And so it just happened you had openings for your workshop, and I really appreciate it. A few months ago I had, been reading a little more about the Vedas, and I was, asking, okay, where do I even begin on this? So it just happened that here I am. And so I really appreciate you allowing us to attend your workshop, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the Vedas in Sanskrit.
Namaste everybody. My name is Surendra Subramani. I was born in Singapore, grew up there, had a British education system. And then I came over to the US, got my MBA and did my doctorate. Of course, American Western. And after 8 years of that, they confer on you a title called PhD, which after much introspection and self-reflection, I began to realize it only means permanently head damaged. And my first trip to India was in 2002. So you got to realize my mind was in a colonial state. So whenever I looked around, I could only see the bad parts of it, the poverty, the filth, But towards the end of that 18 days, something happened where I began to fall in love with India. And ever since I've been coming back, and since I was a professor at the university in Oregon, I used to bring students over here. But a very poignant time for me personally was in 2016, where I had this profound dream at about 2 o'clock. I got up crying, tears were flowing down. And it was like I was a lost child, but I found my mother when I came here. And I embraced her, and she looked at me and she said, "What took you that long?" And I was in tears, and then she said, "As a mother, I'm going to make you strong. I'm going to send you out there again. But next time you feel lost, you know where I'll be." So ever since then, Bharat Mata is something very holy to me. She is eternal and she is infinite. But in the physical form, it is this land that has been the birthplace of so much knowledge. But in the process, I promised myself that with 1,000 years of foreign domination, colonialism and stuff, I want to arm myself with the knowledge that emanated from this great land. So I would call that my Brahmastra. And I've made a promise that if you want to get to Bharat Mata, you've got to get through her son, me. And there's a fight that you're going to face that you never ever dreamt. So I thank Sampath for giving me this opportunity to learn another aspect of this culture, this eternal culture that is Bharat Mata.
Everybody, I am Sanatan here. My brother who is sitting in front of me is an ardent devotee of Mother here in Pondicherry, whereas I have not been. So, through him we learned so many things regarding Aurobindo, Mother, everybody. And all along my life, my service life, I have dedicated my life to my PhD company, who is dealing with manufacturing, correction and servicing of large turbo generators. So now this time I happen to be with my brother. He said I am going to Pondicherry to attend a workshop like this. So immediately he spoke to Mr. Sampath. I am thankful to Mr. Sampath for allowing me to be here. And this is the first type of workshop I am attending, even though I attended hundreds of workshops on technical and engineering side. Thank you, Mr. Sampath. I am a very beginner, either in Sanskrit or in Veda or in spirituality. This is the introduction I can give about myself. Thank you, Sampath.
Thank you.
Hello, Namaste. I am Mr. Nathan. I was employed in Government of India. Since emergency days, I was associated with RSS, and one of the RSS functions, I heard about Sanatana Dharma speech. There the speaker said, Sri Aurobindo says Sanatana Dharma is naturalism. So even though we were working on the socio-political and cultural aspects of this naturalism, I was wondering, Sanatana Dharma is naturalism, then what is that? Then I just read Sanatana Dharma speech. I will read many times, and I used to give that book whoever I meet. So that is a turning point, hearing about this Sanatana Dharma speech, that added a great dimension and depth to my thinking and to my approach to life. Then slowly I was associated with Sanskrit Bharati. I learned to speak Sanskrit. Then I came into contact with Sampath. It's a great, more than 15 years. And here I used to attend many of his workshops. For a man who is so hungry, he is expecting something at least cake, roti, like that. When he is expecting that only, if he gets a great fish, how it will be? So it is like that. Sampaji's workshops is always like that. More and more our hunger increases by attending his workshops. We look forward, and I was suggesting him, I want to take up some work so that I can understand directly these slokas, and it should be of some help for my sadhana also. And the suggestion came the Uma Sahasrabhavan Ganapati Muni. So he suggested if we come over here to Pondicherry, so we can take up that. So he arranged an accommodation for both of us, myself and my wife. And we are offering a little service in his work here. But it was a great loss for us since he shifted to Delhi. But still we are maintaining contact, and it's a great learning experience. But of course we all started at late 50s, so we are like crawling like snails, what to do. But still we are making a little progress each day. It's a great learning. And I was again fortunate enough to be initiated into traditional sadhana also. And that helps. It's both reciprocal. Having the background of someone said, no, having the background of that tradition, it helps us to understand Sri Aurobindo. After knowing Sri Aurobindo's mother, we are able to go deep into the traditional resource. Both enlightens the other thing. It's such a wonderful thing that's my experience. And especially Savitri and the sadhana. And when we do some mantra sadhana and all that, with the help of Savitri, we are able to go little by deep into Savitri. And our traditional sadhana also, we are able to have a good grasp on how to do it. Something that is happening. Still I am, like somebody else said, I am just nursery student in Sanskrit. But we are fortunate enough to have the association of Sampaji.
My name is Ritija, and I am a second year undergraduate student here in the Sri Aurobindo Ashram School. The students here are exposed to Sri Aurobindo's and mother's works only at the graduation level. And as I'm still a student, I don't know what more to add to my introduction. I have not really achieved anything in life as yet. But what I aspire currently is to thoroughly understand Sri Aurobindo and mother's works. And the reason I joined the workshop was to build a foundation for myself before the academic year begins in a few days. Thank you.
Thank you all. So it has taken a little longer, but it helps us understand each other. Before we begin, I would like to take another 2 minutes to share one anecdote which had brought us all together here. A decade ago, a little more than a decade ago, so I was looking for a house, and someone suggested me that you should contact this number, and they are looking for someone to sell their house. So I contacted, and then we came, me and my wife. Then he said we met one lady who is sitting here, and she told me, what's your name? I said, my name is Sampadananda. Oh, you are Sampadananda. I don't know, we are following you, you may not be knowing us, but we keep a track of your writings and everything. So this is how the thing happened. So we got a house, and we got, it's not just getting a house from someone, but it was a deeper relationship that built on, and it continues. And we organized so many things, and then Subhash Ghatak and his wife Chitradi. So we are always in touch, and then he suggested that why not we have some workshops. Again, earlier we used to conduct every year. Then he said that we will do it, and so that's how we all are here. with their goodwill for learning together. So much credit of having this workshop today we are gathering, so it goes to their aspiration and my aspiration of conducting some kind of classes like this. Okay, so what we learned from this self-introduction and why this aspiration, knowing everyone's aspiration is necessary. One thing which came up and which is the very foundation of our tradition is the quest for knowledge. If today we have the Vedas, we have the Upanishads, we have the Gita, we have Ramayana, Mahabharata, we have all the philosophical texts, all that has been contributed by our Rishi tradition. So what lies at the background of the foundation is the quest for knowledge, and it continues, this quest for knowledge. Every Rishi, and we will be discussing more about the Rishi tradition in our next session, and this I will give you a very brief introduction to what Veda is. When we talk about the Veda itself is knowledge, and the Veda also means the quest for knowledge. Vedmi, like I need to know, I know, or we must know. The root sound of the Veda is Ved, and Ved is something, it's not just to know, but the Ved is so many things. Like if you turn to the Sanskrit, it's again another amazing language that we have, where every word has its own history. Like in other languages also, like every word will have its own history. But the beauty of Sanskrit, the beauty of a language which is not mentally constructed, but it's a result of a refined consciousness. It's called Samskrita. Not that language has been refined by some refined mind, but it is the result of a refined consciousness. It's a result of a refined consciousness, and a refined consciousness can produce only refined thing. That is the most secret about the greatest secret about Sanskrit. That every word of it refines our consciousness. Because it comes from a refined consciousness, it has the power to refine the consciousness who is using it consciously. The use of it also has to be a conscious use. Otherwise, mechanically using a language for communication, it doesn't help. Like the communication is over, the role of language is over. But here one gets hooked by Sanskrit. It's not merely communication. So if you just contemplate even a single word has the power to take anyone who is contemplating to the very depth of the entire realization that we find in the Veda. A single word. And Patanjali, you must have heard the name Patanjali, who is famous for two things. Like he is famous for yoga, and he is also famous for the Vyakarana, the grammar. He has written the greatest commentary on Panini's Ashtadhyaya, Panini's grammar. So in his commentary, in the introduction to his commentary, he writes, it's a beautiful sentence which says, Eka Shabda Samyak Jnata Suprayukta Swarga Loke Cha Kamathuk Bhavati. A single word, Eka Shabda, Samyak Jnata. It has to be learnt and known properly, Samyak, entirely. Samyak Jnata and Suprayukta, consciously used, well used. The word should not be here is a cautionary, thing that he cautions us that never use the word unnecessarily. Any unnecessary use of the word doesn't lead anywhere, rather it puts us in problem. So it has to be consciously used. So prayukta. Swarge lokecha kamadhuk bhavati. It yields greater result here and hereafter. Swarge lokecha kamadhuk bhavati. So a single word, a single root sound has that much power to transform our entire consciousness. This being the situation, like the word Veda itself is a mantra. The Veda itself is a mantra, and every word is derived from a root sound, and a single root sound can have multiple layers of meanings. Dhatava anekarthaka. Every dhatu, here dhatu is not metal, or not the dhatu of the Ayurveda, not the dhatu of metallurgy, but the dhatu of Vyakarana. Dhatu means again the foundation word, the foundation sound, the root sound. Even the root sounds have their own source, own foundation, which are known as the seed sounds, the bija aksharas. So the bija aksharas, they give birth to the root sounds, the dhatu shabdas. And each dhatu, each bija can have multiple layers of meanings. That's the beauty again here, that suppose you find in Varnamala, the sounds from to her, every sound has ranges of meanings, layers of meanings. Every sound. There is no civilization on the earth, no language on the earth, no nation here which has a language where you will find ekakshara kosha. We have number of ekakshara koshas, more than 40 ekakshara koshas. That means dictionaries of monosyllabic sounds. What does ka mean? But when you add the vowel ka, what does it mean? Ki, ku, ke, kai, kam, ka. Like this you get into all the vowels, all consonants, combinations of all vowels. So that's why I say that, like if someone can understand deeply just the Varnamala of Sanskritam, you have the entire Veda in your consciousness. You don't need to go deep into the Veda. Every realization that you will find in the Veda, it is there in the Varnamala itself. That's why we say that it was originated from the Damaru of Shiva. And the beauty of this civilization, our Sanskriti, our Sabhyata, our Rishi Parampara, is that everything we ascribe to divinity. Even the origin of language, like when people ask this question, where does Sanskrit originate from? Simple answer, our tradition will give divine. It has a divine origin. Because we believe in that. That's the greatest key of our tradition. Everything is referred to the divinity. You remove divinity, no Bharat, no Rishi Parampara, no Veda, nothing. Divinity is at the end. So that's why Sri Aurobindo very, significantly he says, Veda is the concealed divinity in the Sanatana Dharma. The concealed divinity. Like why every one of us, we should learn Veda, because that discovery and the very purpose of life. Why this question I asked, like we should know, we should be aware of the very purpose of our life, our aspiration. This is must that we should become conscious of this. And then what is that greater purpose is to discover that divinity. And divinity is not any particular image, particular form, but it is all forms. Forms also not to be rejected. Sri Aurobindo in a very beautiful aphorism, he says, reject not the form, because the formless resides in the form. So if you reject the form, you are rejecting the formless also. So whether we do the sakar or nirakar upasana, saguna or nirguna upasana, there is no exclusivity in this tradition, in our tradition. We say he is both Saguna and Nirguna. He is Ananta Gunavan, he is Nirguna. Both at the same time. He is Gunatita, he is Saguna. He is Ananta Gunavan, he is Gunatita. Both. It cannot be defined. That's why we say Anirvachaniya. Indescribable. Achintya. Unthinkable. But then the Rishi puts a question and also has found out the method. Can the unthinkable be thought of? Can the unseen be seen? Can the unheard be heard? This is a question which Uddalaka asks his child, Shvetaketu. Tell me, if you say that you have learned everything, tell me that knowing which the unseen can be seen, the unheard can be heard, the unthinkable can be thought of. Yena drishtam drishtam bhavati, ashrutam shrutam bhavati, amatam matam bhavati. What profound question is this? Today such questions also do not arise in our mind. And these questions, the entire tradition, this is the quest for knowledge. The quest for that secret knowledge which can transform, which leads us. And that's where we have the Veda. Veda is not confined only to few pages. That's again is a misunderstanding, misconception about the Veda, that Veda are only 4 Vedas. No. You cannot bind the Veda by numbers because it is immeasurable. Veda is that universal knowledge, that knowledge, that wisdom, that force which resides in the very core of the consciousness. You tap into that, and everyone has the adhikar to do that. Everyone has the adhikar to do that. The Veda or the Upanishad or the tradition doesn't deny anyone to be initiated. But it does say that one has to be an adhikari to dive deep into or get initiated into these shastras. One has to become adhikari. Everyone has the adhikar to become adhikari. It doesn't deny. That's the beauty of our tradition. It doesn't deny anyone, it doesn't reject anyone. It doesn't say that, okay, this person, this community doesn't have the adhikar to learn the Veda. If someone says you that you do not have the adhikar to learn the Veda, don't listen. Simple thing, don't listen. Nowhere you will find that. But one has to become an adhikari. So what are the processes? Because that's why, whenever we get initiated into any shastra, any tradition, the first thing we have to learn is what is the content of that, where we want to get initiated. How does it relate to me at the individual level, at the collective level, and all that lies outside me. So the correlation, that has to be established. The Vishaya, Sambandha, and the Prayojana. Prayojana is the why you want to enter into that. That purpose has to be very, very clear. If there is no clarity of purpose, then also one is not moving ahead with confidence or cannot gain much. So the clarity of purpose has to be there, why one wants to learn this. Whatever one wants to gain, one can gain. But at the same time, there is also a greater gain than any other gains. We need to keep that question. The Rishi tradition kept that question before it and answered also to this question, what is the greatest gain? What is the greatest gain? Is it happiness? Is it peace? Is it harmony? Is it wealth of any kind? Is it something that I want to become? What is the greatest gain? And the Rishi tradition, it answers by saying, because again another beauty of our tradition is that it doesn't waste much words, some shape. It has to be very brief. Sutra. The sutra style of composition again is another unique contribution of our civilization that no other nation has sutra style of composition. You will not find a Panini in any other tradition. You will not find a Patanjali Yoga Sutra in other tradition. You will not find Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra in other tradition. The style of composition, I mean. So, very briefly, the Rishi says, Anandan na parolabha. There is no greater gain than Ananda. Ultimate gain is Ananda. And that Ananda is again synonymous with when we enter into the Veda. So what is the core of the Veda, core message of the Veda? Where does it lead to? If I dive deep into the Veda, where am I going to be? Like we ask, how do I see myself after 5 years? After 10 years? So how do I find myself? Like I have attended a workshop on the Veda. Then what? Why do I say I want to learn the Veda? Where does it lead to? Again, the answer from the rishis is that it will lead you to one state, and that state they called it Ananda or Amrita. These are two prominent foundational keywords: Ananda Amrita or Ananda Amrita or Amritananda. Whatever way you want to compose, you can compose. It means same. You can use Ananda or you can use Amrita. And so much emphasis is given on this that every Upanishad that you find, the core content is leading towards the immortality, the Amrita that has to be gained. But what is that immortality? That we will be discovering throughout our discussions. So Anandan na parolabha. There is no greater gain than Ananda. And can you believe that one of the meanings of the root sound Ved, from which the word Veda has come, means to gain. Ved means to gain. So Veda itself is a gain. Is the greatest gain, Veda. It leads us towards the Ananda. So Vindate, like you have Vidyate, you have Vetti. Vidyate means exists. Okay, I'll come to this word, but the first thing is, like we discussed about Vetti, to know. It makes us aware of who we are. That's why it is Veda. So anything that makes us aware of who we are, what is the purpose? Why is this world? Why am I here? What is my work here? How should I move ahead? If anything that makes us aware of this is the Veda. Is the Veda. It's not that Veda was written forever. No. It cannot be. Then the Veda word doesn't fit to that. Nothing can be written forever. So it is evolving. Our tradition believes in Pranava. Pranava. Another name of Om, which is Pranava. Pranava means ever new. Nava. Pra means forward, moving forward. Like you have the English prefix, preposition pro. Okay. So it is Pranava, ever new. So the creation, that's what we learn from the Veda, we learn from the Upanishads, we learn from our tradition, that the creation is never a static thing. It is a constant unfoldment of the supreme energy, supreme force, supreme reality. So every moment, and we can't even calculate what does it mean by that moment. Is it a blink of eye? No, it is even minutest portion of time if anyone can conceive of. So at that speed, the creation is happening. Just as the Upanishad says that, you can't even imagine at what speed the supreme reality, the Brahman, it moves. If you try to cross it, you will always find him ahead of you. Tadejati tadnejati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya bahyata. So, one Upanishad, everything is contained in one mantra, one word. That's the beauty of the Veda. So, with me, with, to know, to be aware of. That's what is the Veda, that anything that makes us aware of the very purpose of our birth is the Veda. Second is the greatest gain, Vindate. You must have heard the word Govinda. The word Govinda, usually for Krishna, the word is used because he's a cowherd boy. But here Govinda has a very different meaning. Sri Aurobindo translates the word Govinda as the guardian of light. Govinda. Vinda is like someone who has gained, someone who is in possession of. Go means light. Okay. Go is light, go is earth, go is indriyas, the senses, go is speech, go means vani. I mean, if we do not understand these nuances of the words, again, it's very difficult to enter into the Veda. Otherwise, what the European Western mind or people who are following that are not having an introduction to this, they keep searching the cows in the Veda. Okay. The cows. But it's not the cows, it's the light. Otherwise it becomes very difficult to translate. How do you translate Goswami Tulsidas? He is not, even a literal translation will be he is the husband of cows. No, it will be wrong. Goswami. Swami is like one who has sanyama. One who has a self-control, control over his senses, control over himself, control over his speech, control over his senses, control over himself is Goswami. So, Vindate. The other meaning of Vid is Vidyate. Vidyate means that which exists. Okay. So, our very existence is Veda. Without Veda, nothing can exist. If there is existence, if I exist, this world exists, if there is existence, that itself is the Veda. So, if you combine these three, Vidyate, referring to Sat, Vedmi, I know, or Vedti, he knows, refers to Chit, because Chit is basically the awareness. And Vindate, to gain, and the greatest gain is Ananda. So the Veda word itself is referring to Sat, Chit and Ananda. So another word for Satchidananda is Veda. And if life's very purpose is to realize the Satchidananda Swarupa of ours, then Veda is the key. The Veda is the kunji. The Veda is the key to realize that Satchidananda Swarupa, because Veda is Satchidananda. And the content of the Veda again is organized around that. I mean, no one has actually organized the Veda, because it cannot be organized the way we think. Yet, Vyasadeva had to, only a Rishi can do that. So Vyasadeva had to intervene and then put together all the scattered records. These are the records of the realizations, and put it, give it to a, give a structure to the scattered record, and that's how we have the Samhita. So Samhita is compilation, collection. In a literal sense, it will be like to bring everything together in a manner that it doesn't again further get loosened. Okay, Samhita. So, putting those together, So, putting those together is a Samhita, and where he put them together in 4 parts: the Rigveda Samhita, Yajurveda Samhita, and Samaveda Samhita, and Atharvaveda Samhita. These 4 Samhitas. Every Samhita again has its own interpretative text called Brahmana. After the Samhita Granthas, you have the Brahmana Granthas. So the word Brahmana we are familiar with like a Brahmin. Okay. But here it has nothing to do with a Brahmin. Brahmana, because in the Veda, every mantra is called mantra, every mantra is called a rik, every mantra is called chandas, and every mantra is called Brahman. These are the 4 words you find which are referred to by mantra. So mantra, rik, chandas, and Brahman. Okay. So every mantra, you can say that mantra is a Brahman. Brahman, basically the word Brahman comes from the root sound Brangha, Branghanam. Branghanam means expansion. Because the mantras have the power to help us expand, the expansion of consciousness. Okay. And it's meant for that. It comes from the Brahman. It leads us to the Brahman. So every mantra is called Brahman. So Brahman, because the name of mantra is Brahman, the interpretative text or anything related to Brahman is called Brahmana. So Brahmanas are those texts which interpret what is Brahman, a mantra. So that's why they put together the traditional interpretation of the Veda will be mantra Brahmanayor Veda Nama Dheyam. It means mantra and Brahmana together is Veda. Okay, mantra Brahmanayor Veda Nama Dheyam. This is how you have the traditional interpretation. So the word Brahmana has nothing to do with Brahmin. So it is the mantra. And anyone who is initiated to the mantra is a Brahmin. Okay, is a Brahman because you are dealing with Brahman. So Brahman, Brahmana Grantha. And then every Veda, every Samhita has the Brahmana Grantha, also has the Aranyaka Grantha. So Brahmana Granthas are mostly the Karma Kanda. You have the ritualistic interpretation of the Veda in the Brahmana Granthas. Various akhyanas, upakhyanas, stories, sub-stories, anecdotes, legends you will find. The Brahmanas are full of those. Then you have the Aranyakas. Away from this ritualistic outer aspect, one needs the solitude of the forest to contemplate deeper into that. So mostly Aranyakas are to be by the Vanaprasthis. I mean, all these 4 are again related to the 4 ashramas. So the Samhitas have to be learned by the Bhatus, the Brahmacharis in the Brahmacharya ashrama. Here you are not doing anything, just by heart, rote learn those, following the Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. Brahmana Granthas interpretative text focusing on the Karmakanda, that's how the Grihasthi has to do, perform all the rituals, everything. And the Vanaprasthis, at that phase after the Grihastha, has to get initiated into the deeper aspect. This is the first introduction to the deeper philosophical aspects of the Samhita text. Then Upanishads are for sannyasa. So where one entirely dives deep into it, has no connection with anything, just merges into the state of Brahman, the Upanishads. So you can connect this, because this Chatushtaya in our Sabhyata, in our Sanskriti is very important. Like you have the Veda Chatushtaya, you have the Ashrama Chatushtaya, you have the Purushartha Chatushtaya, you have the Varna Chatushtaya. Even you can link the Varna Chatushtaya with the Veda. But again, the Varna Chatushtaya is very, very misinterpreted by linking it to the caste. Okay, caste. We have no caste. Okay, here there is no caste. So it is the like every Varna is a force of consciousness, is a part of the consciousness. There is a Shudra Shakti, there is a Vaishya Shakti, there is a Kshatra Shakti, there is a Brahma Shakti. So all these 4 are the 4 powers of the same consciousness to which the humanity belongs. So every human being carries a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya and Shudra within itself. Every one of us, we have all these 4 temperament, 4 powers. One may be prominent, the other powers must come forward to collaborate in order to perfect the predominant power. So at the same time, the integral personality means a Purna Vyaktitva, means like one who has realized the Brahma Shakti, Kshatriya Shakti, Shudra Shakti and Vaishya Shakti all together, harmoniously blended and then manifested or perfected in the same consciousness. Think of Chanakya. You can't think of Chanakya as a Brahmana, pure Brahmana. You can't think of Chanakya as a Kshatriya. You can't think of Chanakya as a Vaishya or Shudra. He is all 4 at the same time. That's Veda. Okay. So this is a very brief introduction to the different parts of the Veda, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. Then you have few auxiliary texts called Vedanga, Veda Anga, auxiliary texts. There are 6 auxiliary texts known as Shadanga. In Odisha, you have many people, their surname is Shadangi or Sharangi. Okay, Shadangi means they are master in teaching or in possession of all the 6 auxiliary texts. Shadanga. So that's why Shadanga. So you have Satapathy, the one who is master in Satapatha Brahmana is Satapathy. Those who are expert in Ratha Patha, they are Ratha. Ghana. All our surnames also can teach so many things about the community, about what exists in the tradition. So that apart, so we have the Shadanga. So the one of the primary Shadanga is Vyakarana. Vyakarana means the grammar. So if we want to understand the Veda, we need to understand the language from various perspectives, from the grammatical perspective, from the rhythm perspective, from the etymological perspective. So you have Vyakarana as a Shadanga, you have Nirukta, etymology, as a Shadanga, you have Chandas, another Shadanga. Chandas means the rhythmic patterns by which the mantras are there. Then Nirukta is etymology of the word, Nirukta. So Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas. Then you have Jyotisha. Jyotisha means like when we perform auspicious act like a yajna, havan, the timing has to be perfect. The alignment of all the grahas, the kshetras. So Jyotisha is all about astrology, astronomy. Okay. Then you have the Kalpa. Kalpa means like these are the rules and regulations laid down by the tradition about what a grihasthi, what a householder should perform, and collectively what yajna can be performed for the well-being of the entire humanity, entire universe. Okay, so Kalpa, it's called the Kalpa. So where you have the Shrota Sutras and Shulva Sutras, Shrota Sutras and Shulva Sutras. So where you find like how a Vedika, how the altar has to be made. So all rules and regulations and all aspects of how the yajna has to be taken place. Then you have Shiksha. Shiksha is the phonetics, the pronunciation of like how do you recite the mantras. Because the Ucharana has to be perfect. So you have Shiksha, all the Shadangas, the 6 auxiliary, Shiksha, Kalpa, Nirukta, Vyakarana, Chandas and Jyotish. These are the Shadangas. So 4 Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyaka, Upanishad and Shadangas, they form the Vedic literature. Apart from that, there are certain texts which will fall under the Vyakarana. They are called the Pratishakya. Pratishakya means like every Samhita has its own branch. Okay. So why these branches? There are a lot of other things like how these branches were thought of. And every branch of the Samhita had its own grammatical text which are known as Pratishakha, means Pratishakya. So Pratishakyas are the earliest grammatical books, you can say. So this is very briefly an introduction to the Vedic literature. And what I discussed, just to revise it before we close for the tea break, that I gave you a broad introduction about the word Veda, the idea that the Veda contains, and the Vedic literature. So the Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad, and the Shadangas. So with this little introduction, we close the first session, and then we'll come back and then dive into the Rishi tradition of Bharat, where we will discuss more about the Rishi's aspiration, and then in the afternoon sessions we will be doing with the legends, the Vedic vision of life, and various other concepts related to the Veda. So let's close this. The question answer we can have after tea. Let's close this with a few seconds of silence.